You're listening to Hashtag No Filter with Zack Peter. That's me, your naturally platinum blonde pop culture connoisseur. I'm the reality TV junkie, self-improvement addict, and host with only the hottest tea spilled fresh weekly. For more hot takes, go and give me a follow at Just Plain Zack. I always keep it funny and I always keep it cute. And if you're like me and you want to stay up to date with the latest reality tea, go and give us a follow at No Filter with Zack on the Instagram. I hope you are enjoying some fizzy Housewives-inspired rosé for yourself this weekend. The holidays are coming up, and you're going to want to stock up for your holiday shindigs. Or if you have a Bravo-obsessed bestie, you're going to want to order them some no-filter Housewives Watching Wine at nofilterwine.com. It packs a punch at 14% alcohol by volume, but less than a gram of sugar. I designed them perfectly, and I don't just say that because I designed them myself, but I did design them perfectly just for you. You're going to enjoy them this holiday season, so go to nofilterwine.com right now. Ooh, we had a juicy weekend. The Vanderpump Rules Reunion taped on Friday. And obviously, you know, last week I had my interview with Tom Sandoval. He had some things to say about Katie and Schwartz, which obviously, you know, blew up, made some headlines, which I would imagine made for some juicy conversations happening at the Vanderpump Rules Reunion. As we know, it taped last Friday. All of the cast was there in person except for Lala, Katie, and Schwartz. The three of them, for some reason, taped virtually. I'm not sure why. I obviously assume it would have to be related to COVID. Either they were in contact with somebody or tested positive or something happened and they didn't end up being able to tape in studio. Or maybe, I don't know. I actually don't know, because I'm like, well, if if it was like a not too many people thing, then I would think, we would cut like Charlie from being at the reunion. But whatever. We know that Lala, Katie, and Tom Sandoval all taped from home, taped remotely. The rest of the cast was there in person, and Katie did end up responding to my interview with Tom Sandoval, where he said that she was basically using him for a storyline, and that was, she wanted to jump in on Tom. That way she could be a part of it, even though he and Schwartz had made a pact to not have their significant others part of the bar, because it was supposed to be their thing and it gets messy. So she responded and she's like, that's not even true. When I called you and had that conversation, it was way before production. And she fired off her own statement on Instagram. So I would imagine that gets addressed at the reunion. So we have that to look forward to. We also know that Andy Cohen said on Twitter that Lala is ready to mention it all, and she talks all about the Randall stuff, all about the Randall cheating. I assume how she found out about it, what the relationship status is right now. Obviously, she's changed her tattoo. She's moved out. She's in a new apartment. So she's apparently going to give us the whole backstory on what ended up going on there. Andy said she doesn't hold back. He grills her. I would assume very similarly to the way he grilled Erica at the Beverly Hills reunion. And then the biggest piece of information that broke from Friday was that James and Raquel have called off their engagement. And she's now, I guess, already moved out on her own, which has me like really questioning this. Because at first, when the rumor was going around, I think it was Gays by Bravo, the Instagram account, they were the ones that first broke it. And I was under the impression that it was just like a fan theory that somebody was like posting about in the comments. And then Gays by Bravo seemed to have like confidently confirmed it. And then I believe it was Sunday morning, James and Raquel both released a joint statement on their individual Instagram accounts confirming that they had called off their engagement and that they were simply they had different goals for their future, is basically the gist of it. It didn't seem like there was any contention or fighting, but they just were like, our futures just don't look like they align anymore, and we've decided to move on in a different direction. They've been engaged for less than a year. Obviously, we know Sandoval did the whole big shebang engagement. I have so many questions. I don't understand how or where or what. Like, did they break up before the reunion and they just happened to announce it at the reunion, and then because it leaked, they had to address it beforehand? Because based off of their Instagram stories, I don't know, they were too calm the day of the reunion. They were very calm the next day after the reunion. James was like, I got a smoothie. I'm working out at Equinox. Raquel was like posting about her outfit from the reunion. So I don't know. I would just, if you are simply breaking up merely because you guys don't have goals that align anymore, And why would you release a statement ahead of time, like before the reunion comes out, if there's like a big fight at the reunion, like, and we have much love for each other. Obviously, we're going to see that something goes down at the reunion, but I think maybe it's possible that they broke up before the reunion. And this was just their opportunity to actually announce it, especially because like within 48 hours, she had already had all of the U-Haul boxes packed, like big boxes, like a lot of packing. Packing doesn't just happen like that. She had the U-Haul truck outside the apartment, like to the left. Everything she owned was in a box to the left and in the U-Haul. And I was like, how did we get here so quickly? Like, Lala wasn't even moved out that fast. We saw Lala going to, what was it, the Beverly Hilton Hotel. I don't understand. I think that they possibly split beforehand, maybe a couple of days leading up to the reunion. To me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't look like it was a hasty, rash decision. And like we have no news as to what James actually did other than they broke up, that I would imagine like that would have been leaked with the information that there was some sort of big fight. James said something about Raquel. James did something embarrassing at the reunion. James had a scene. So I think this all of the alluding to something happening, all of the, you know, sort of ambiguous postings and rumblings that we have on the internet probably signify that there wasn't some big moment, and maybe we're hiding whatever that moment was to get people to tune in to see if there's something that's actually juicy between the two of them. But I don't know. I mean, I know other people were saying, oh, well, Lala's single. Is James hoping for his second chance? I mean, and they are both single. They are both sober. I don't know if he's stepdad material. I feel like it's a little soon for the two of them. But I mean, that wouldn't be a terrible rebound. Well, I don't know. I mean, I feel like rebound in terms of like in the bedroom, because they kind of already have that underlying attraction to each other. But like, I don't know if Lala's looking to go from Randall Emmett money to like white Kanye change. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm very confused about this. And people have come to me and they're like, what's the tea? What's the information? I'm like, there really is no tea, or at least no major tea that has been spilled as of yet. We saw Andy post with Lisa at the reunion. I would feel like there would be some sort of scandal or drama or big beef. If there was something monumental, I feel like we would have heard some sort of leak, especially after every Housewives reunion. There's always like something that they reveal that gets leaked into the press that's usually more exaggerated than what it actually is. But in this case, it's been under exaggerated. So I'm curious as to see what the reunion's actually going to bring. Originally going into it, I was like, okay, there's no way there can be more than 2 parts of the reunion because there are only 15 episodes this season. We're already on episode 10. Yeah, we're already on episode 10, so there are only 5 weeks left in the season. What were the biggest? There's obviously Sheena versus Lala, and Lala versus Ariana. There's that drama that has continued to kind of resurface. There's a little bit of Charlie drama. There's Brock's drama. I think the Brock stuff is probably going to carry a lot of the reunion. There's the Katie versus Tom Sandoval drama. And then we had James and Raquel and their engagement and now their breakup. So that along with Lala's breakup. So, I mean, that's 6 key talking points that we'll end up covering. Can we cover all 6 in a 2-part reunion? I don't know if we need a 3-part reunion. The only reason I would think we would need a third part to the reunion, given that it was a shorter season. We had OC was only 2 parts last season, and that was 15 episodes as well. So I would say, given the shorter season, the only way I can see them adding a third part is to really get into the Lala and Randall stuff, and if there was something really big to break in the James and Raquel stuff. But I think that it's probably an announcement that we're going to get of them ending their relationship. I don't know if we'll actually get that moment at the reunion. Or if we do, I don't know if that moment was genuine in the moment or this was something that they'd been thinking on and ruminating on. Because think about it. Nobody breaks up their engagement. They had, a years-long relationship. Then they were engaged for almost a year, and now all of a sudden, at one reunion taping, you have one fight, and we're done. We move out. Like, unless he says, "Hey, I banged Logan, and he gave me a blowjob on my way over here." Like, I don't know what could be so big that would cause them to have this big of a breakup, and this be the result of all of it. I don't know. I want to hear your theories. Let me know what you guys think of the reunion taping thus far, and James and Raquel and James and Lala, and whether you even think there's a future there. I feel like they'll probably have like a hookup moment. I don't see them being together like full time though. I just feel like Lala's aspirations in terms of what she's looking for a guy. I think James is probably still holding out hope, and now he's like, well, shit, Lala's single. Peace out, Raquel. Bye. And a lot of people are like, oh, good for Raquel. She's better off. I never saw them as a good couple. I'm sorry. Not that she's better off or he's better off. I think they're both like not good for each other. Like obviously she was better for him because she enabled a lot of his behavior. But I don't know. I didn't think she was that much of a prize either. And I'll probably get shit for saying that. But sometimes relationships just don't work out. I was like, okay, maybe them getting engaged, maybe we'll see this through. I DK. I really DK. So there's that. Let me know your theories. I'm curious to see what you think is actually going to happen, or if you've gotten any tea. If you've gotten it before me, that would be a first. But if you do have some, let me know. Slide into my DMs or leave a comment below. All right, I want to take a quick moment to tell you guys about one of my secret weapons during the holiday season, and that is purecane. I feel like everything this time of year is just doused in sugar, which is why I love purecane, a zero-calorie sweetener derived naturally from sugar cane, and trust me, it doesn't have any of that bitter aftertaste. It's delicious, all natural, and super cute. You know I'm a sucker for marketing. It's very Instagram worthy. It's perfect in cocktails, it's an easy substitute while baking, and it's great for just about any other way you can think of to sweeten up your holiday season. So go and head over to purecane.com to stock up right now. You're gonna love it. Trust me. So while you're shopping for everyone else, make a sweet choice for yourself. Head over to purecane.com right now. That's purecane.com. All right, today's guests made us all really blush on HBO Max's 12 Dates of Christmas. But I want to know, do they still have googly eyes for each other? Please welcome from season 2 of 12 Dates of Christmas, Danny and Nicci.
Well, I thank you very much. That is some intro, Zach.
How you doing?
I can tell you've done it a time or two before.
I think. Well, I just started last week. This is my second week ever.
Well, Zach, you're killing it. And I also do want to try your beverage. So
I need to send you some of the wine. Yes, I'll send you guys some. That
Yes.
way you'll be Liddy City all winter long.
Oh,
The best way to stay warm is either to get laid or to get lit.
Love that.
Hey, hoping for some of both.
Let's hope
man.
so. So,
Same.
relationship status update. Nicci, are you guys still together?
Yes, we are.
You are.
Yeah, I know. Crazy, right?
How have you been making it like last? Because you guys don't live in the same state, right? So it's a bit of a long distance relationship.
Well, Zach, there's been a lot of flights and
A lot of
Yeah,
FaceTime sex.
and a lot of FaceTime.
Danny, how are you keeping the blue balls not so blue without Nicci near you?
Well, I'm gonna order some of your drinks, so that should help. But other than that, we see each other fairly regularly, and that's kind of a hard thing. Is just the flights, the cross country, and we've been doing it, and just discussing next steps, and where we see the future. But I think that our connection is so strong that we've been able to make it work imperfectly. It's been difficult at times, but Nicci's fantastic, and she comes to visit. I'm not quite as mobile, but she's been just phenomenal, and we've made it work.
So, taking us back to the beginning, Danny, were you actually looking for love? Were you just looking for some Instagram followers? Like, what made you sign up to do this show? And were you expecting to even still be in a relationship this many months after filming?
I'd hope so. That's kind of the dream, right? It's like you get an opportunity like that, and I'm thinking I could actually meet like my person on a TV show. How crazy is that? And when I got into it, I tried to just kind of peel back the expectations and just say, you know what, this is going to be a fun experience. I'm going to meet great people.
Yeah.
And HBO Max is just first class all the way. So meeting Nicci was a huge plus, and I definitely did hope to meet someone, to settle down and hope for a future with. So
After watching back now, was there anybody else that you regret letting go?
there's no one else. I like, my ultimate decision would definitely be the same. I don't regret the end result. I think along the way, at times during the process, I regretted some of the decisions because it happens so fast. You can't really tell episode to episode, but it's really, you meet someone and then 2 days later you're deciding who to kick off and who to keep. So yeah, there was a few decisions that I regretted at the time, but in hindsight, after everything's said and done, I'm really happy with the end result, which is Miss Nicci Ramos.
And Nicci, how did you feel having to go into this dating experience where you're essentially sharing this man with all these other ladies? I mean, having to watch if I had to watch somebody date a guy, like when I'm on a first date, I'm like, that's it, we're getting married. My brain, I fall in love so fast that if I had to watch somebody else make out with my future husband, I would be like ready to cut a bitch.
Honestly, I mean, I actually shocked myself. Like, I feel that I handled myself surprisingly well. I knew what I was going into. I knew there was going to be multiple women and only one man. So I just stayed really true to myself and tried to just focus on what I knew Danny and I had in that moment. So yeah, I don't know. I shocked myself, to be honest. I think I did great. It wasn't easy to watch him do some of the things, but at the same time, I wanted him to do those things so that it would make him want to come back to me. And I must have done something right. So,
because at the end of the day, you know that he's going to pick the prize, and it seems like he found his right prize.
I do agree. Yeah.
How awkward were the double dates, like the three-way dates? I feel like it's awkward when somebody comes in and crashes, and then you have to kind of divide your attention.
Yeah, so I actually never had a date crashed. So having to do the throuple date was obviously a first for me. I've never done that in my life, and I don't plan on doing it ever again. But I was glad that it was with Brooke because, when she did come on, I kind of made her feel welcome. But at the same time, I was like, I'm here to find love, not to make a best friend. So I'm not holding back. I'm going to speak my mind and let him know that I'm here for him. So yeah, it was uncomfortable, but I thought I handled it as best as I could.
Danny, was it your ideal situation having two girls fighting for you at the same time?
Let me just say, Zach, it's way less cool than it sounds.
Listen, I love a good threesome, Danny.
I thought I would, but when you're in the middle of it, I've found for me that one girl's emotions is more than enough to try to handle. And so there was a time during the end where I had dates with 3 different girls on in the same day. And I think each one of them cried. Oof. And that experience was so exhausting. That was a fun, actually that was the only date when I went on 2 girls at the same time. So Nicci and Brooke were both on that date, but the back and forth is a little bit exhausting.
How do you compartmentalize your own feelings considering you have to navigate the feelings of all these other, suitors or potential love interests while trying to figure out what it is that you even like while being in this pressure cooker?
Yeah. I don't know. I did it all that well. I tried, but it's one of those things where I kept trying to remind myself to put what do I want, put my happiness first, and then just try to handle everyone, with grace and the way that they'd want to be treated, that I'd want to be treated. And I think I still came out of there with a few people that weren't too happy, but I had overall really positive experiences, and even limited relationships that I developed that didn't end up being the ultimate person. It was still productive and good. So I had a great experience, but it was stressful and it was hard.
What did you think of Markel and Amanda, considering they both didn't find anybody in the house? Markel ended up going home to his ex, and Amanda's like, peace out, I didn't find anybody. You were the only one that really ended. I mean, obviously we have Panee, but he was brought in later, or he was brought in as a lead later into the game. But you were the only one to walk away with the successful love match in that traditional setting.
I think that, well, Markel and Amanda were definitely looking for the person. And in Markel's case, he just didn't find anyone that he connected with. And when he did, I think, maybe with John Paul at first, that ended up turning out differently. He met, Tom. And so I thought the way and maturity and with which he handled that situation was commendable. And I mean, Amanda, she's a total dime. And she expects one in return. I think she's picky, but like she's looking for her person. And I got nothing but genuine vibes from both of them. And, we're good friends. And I think at the end, Amanda was, thought that maybe she had found that person, but it didn't end up working out that way.
Nicci, how did you feel when you saw Brooke write the letter to Danny and he read it in New York and then she ends up flying out there and essentially has a second chance, when at that point you thought that, you were in the goal?
Yeah, so he actually read the letter in Florida, not New York.
Yes.
But it definitely took me by surprise. I genuinely had no idea that had happened. And it kind of took me back to like the elimination moment where I was like sweating profusely. My heart's racing. Like it was just very overwhelming. But yeah, it made me worried because I was thinking to myself, well, like, sorry about it, but you probably should have told him all these things when you were in the lodge, like you're supposed to do. That's kind of like where my mindset was. Like, why should you get another chance when you're on a show? Time is of the essence. Like, you need to go all in if you want. And if not, then sorry about it. Like, so yeah, I didn't like it. No, I did not.
Did you think it was fair of her to get a second chance?
Truthfully, no. But do I respect the fact that I did see Danny's heart through the whole process? I do know what an amazing man he is. And he definitely took this experience like real. He was doing this for all the best intentions. So I understand that, yes, he had built a connection with Brooke and that they had true feelings, in some of those moments. So I respected the fact that he needed to revisit those to like kind of put an end to like, okay, I know I chose the right decision, but no, it didn't feel good. I mean, I don't want to have to like be the chosen one and then a man has to like go, well, maybe, so yeah, it took me by surprise though, that's for sure. But I respect him needing to have that conversation with her.
Yeah, and process those emotions.
Yes.
Danny, what was that decision for you to bring Brooke back into the game? Was it a producer influence? Was it you really wanted to give her a second chance because you thought maybe this could work out?
Yeah, you know what? One of the things that I thought they did a phenomenal job on the show was just capturing genuine emotion. It wasn't overly produced. They did a phenomenal job, but part of the story is told by what they choose to not put in or what doesn't make the final cut, which there's a lot of material, right? Because we're filming 24/7 over the course of months, and you've got to make 45-minute episodes. So I think there was a little more going on behind the scenes there. I knew her for about a week and a half in real time. And in that situation, maybe it translates to more in the real world, but still we had a strong connection, but I just hadn't spent a lot of time with her. And that's one of the things that, I said on the show was just, I wish I had more time to explore that connection. And so I think having that question mark, not wanting to go back and wonder in the future if I'd made the right choice, I was glad to have the opportunity for a little, bit more time, additional conversation.
Now, when I spoke to Brooke on the show last week, she said that part of the reason you guys didn't work out was mainly logistics. Like there was a long distance relationship. Neither of you was really willing to move. What was your decision for choosing Nicci over Brooke?
So my decision for choosing Nicci was the fact that I knew her heart, and I love her approach to the whole thing where, it's like she was in it for me, but also it was a competition and she wanted to win. And I loved her like competitive spirit. I knew that she had a good heart, and there's a lot of behind the scenes dynamics where someone that's there for you that you can trust that we just clicked. And so we had such an established relationship, and I felt strongly like she was going to be the one that I'd want to be with for the future, possibly. When it came to Brooke, it was way newer. My biggest hesitation, with that, it's true, we did have a conversation, just about the logistics, and she was really into her career and all that. But my decision was more based upon hesitation and not quite knowing if it's hard to place. You have an intuition about people sometimes, and maybe you can't put your finger on it. But I just wondered if she's ever off the clock. She's an actress, and I think she's a delightful person. Don't get me wrong, but I knew who Nicci was, and Brooke, it just didn't feel quite right.
I feel like I'm like that though, where I'm never off the clock, and then I turn dates into content, and I'm like, we're gonna tape a podcast interview right now. We're gonna go live on Instagram to broadcast this date for everybody to watch. I'm crazy like that though. Nicci,
I feel like I came off a little crazy in moments.
Well,
which
yeah, Ari said.
Took me by surprise.
Ari said that you were very determined that you were gonna get your man and you were gonna claw through any other woman to get to him.
Yeah, because I knew that our connection was so real, and there's so many parts that they don't show. So that is a little frustrating because I just laugh at the parts they do show. I'm like, who knew I was so funny? Who knew? Oh yeah.
What didn't they show that you wish we would have gotten to see?
Just more of Danny and I's conversations, we had so many moments, talking downstairs on the couch or on the beanbag. We just had those heart to hearts, where we were talking about the future, what we need in a relationship, what we need from our partner. So just important things that weren't shown, not just me always trying to go to his bedroom. It wasn't like that. So let me just make that clear.
Was there a lot of bedroom action in the house?
I don't know. I can't speak for others. I don't know what they were doing.
I've heard stories, Zach. I've heard stories.
They shared a few of their stories last week on my show, and I was like, "Ooh, things were getting spicy. I need to go in the house next season."
Yeah.
How are you guys going to make the long distance thing work in the future? I mean, is there a possibility of moving in together? Is there a possibility of having an open situation, being the proximity is an issue? What does that look like?
We're trying to figure that out. Maybe we'll talk it out right now on the podcast.
Let's do therapy.
Yeah, no, ultimately, none of us want to do a permanently, indefinite long distance situation. So, I think it's a big jump, and we're taking our time, in this situation. But at the end of the day, we do want to be in closer proximity, at some point. And I think the indefinite part of long distance dating is the hardest part. So I feel it's important to have a plan in place, and I think we're going to kind of get into this new year and see where it leads. Are
you guys allowed to date other people currently? Because I was talking to Pani about how he's making it work with Winston, and he says it's really hard, and they're trying, but it's really hard. Is that something you guys are open to?
She better say no.
I was literally
Nicci,
about to say
I don't think either of us are too cool with that. No
chance. I'm not 21
She did
anymore.
enough of that already.
How long has it been officially?
Already let him date other people, right?
Yeah. That's what he got to do. He got it out of his system then. So how many months has it been officially that you guys have been together since starting dating?
I'll let you answer that one, Nicci, because I think it's been 8, maybe 9 months.
It's 9 months, from when we met to then being chosen for hometowns in the New Year's. Because after New Year's, I went back to his place and stayed with him for a little bit to kind of see, his lifestyle and where he lives and his friends and stuff, which I loved. They're all great. So yeah, it's been 9 months.
So did you guys film this last Christmas?
This year. And I went on the show in February, the end of February.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a wild time, you guys. That show, I was literally on the edge of my seat, probably with your storyline more than, I mean, Markel went home. Panay had his connection with Winston, and Amanda was so hard to read, but I feel like your relationships, Danny, had me on the edge of my seat every week.
They had me on the edge of my seat as well.
Have you guys kept in touch with any of the other cast members since?
Yeah, I talk pretty frequently with Panay and also Amanda and Markel, to a little bit of a lesser extent. But outside of that, I think that's about it. Nicci does better at keeping in touch with more people. Oh, Remy is somebody I'll talk to from time to time.
Yeah. Yeah. So me and Panay actually hang out like a lot. He's like one of my little besties. I love him. Remy, talk to her all the time too. Hina, I talk to them. Amanda, and yeah, did something just happen? Oh, okay.
Yeah, my phone's glitching out.
So yeah.
Have you had any contact with Brooke at all, Nicci? Have you guys you guys haven't squashed any? Is there any beef or like what is the status of your relationship? Obviously, it's awkward to be sharing, your dater with someone else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really feel that I need to reach out. It's not like, I have anything wrong with her. We all came on the show looking for the same thing. Sorry it didn't work out, but obviously I'm very happy. I don't have anything negative to say about her, but hopefully she's doing well. I don't, what do I need to say? Like, hey, how are you doing? Danny and I are still great. So like, no,
She's not going to be invited to the wedding?
No, sorry.
Well, easy there, Zach. One step at a time.
One step at a time. I mean, obviously you guys have been dating for quite a while. Is there a more serious future coming soon? Yeah.
That's up in the air, to be honest with you, Zach. I think, we've had challenges with long distance, and we've both talked through, where I'm at in my career and where Nicci's going. I think within this next year, we're going to have a lot more clarity in terms of, where we'll be living, what we'll be doing, and, maybe working something out. But we haven't had a conversation quite yet about that. We just know that we don't want the long distance to go on indefinitely. So I think that'll be coming in 2022.
Well said, babe. Well said.
I love it. What are you guys doing for the holidays?
Well, I'll be celebrating Christmas with my family, and then I'll probably be spending New Year's with my man.
Yeah, definitely we'll be doing New Year's together. The Christmas thing is tough because her family loves her and mine loves me. So it's tough to, on Thanksgiving was a tricky one because we spent it with our families, and then so Christmas, we might do the same way. Not quite sure yet. But New Year's, we're going to do something cool.
Sounds like 2022 is going to be the big year.
But we have celebrated holidays together. I don't know if 4th of July you would consider, or Easter and things like that. So I was with him and his family during those times.
Oh, that's nice. And that was still pretty early on to the relationship.
Yeah. And his family's great. Made me feel so welcome and a part of the fam. So I appreciate that.
I love it. Did you guys watch the first season of 12 Dates of Christmas prior to joining the show, or did you go in blind?
So I'll go. I actually watched it only after I was approached to do the show. I was like, oh, okay, I've never heard of the show. Let me see what it's about. And I was like, hey, this is great. The way that they film it, it's so cinematically beautiful and elegant.
It is really beautifully shot.
It is. Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? I've never done this before. Never did I think I would do something like this, but I'm glad that I did.
Would you do it again as a lead, or would you be another dater?
Well, I mean, I don't have a reason to do it again.
Should there be an opportunity in the future? Or were you like, that's it, I got it out of my system. I don't need a date on TV again. I don't need my parents to watch me making out on TV anymore.
Yeah, I showed America enough. So.
Were you a big reality TV fan prior? Were you into The Bachelor or anything?
Yes, actually I am. I'm like such a hopeless romantic. Like obviously you can see that, but yes, I love that kind of stuff.
So
Guilty.
is that what you expected to go in with the drama and the theatrics and the, give me the final rose, Danny?
Yeah. So before I went on, I did ask, like, is this similar to Bachelorette? Like, is it very catty? Like, is there going to be drama and this and that? Because I'm so not for that. I was kind of like, team everyone, like, just be you, do you. And if he likes you more, then so be it, So I stayed out of like the drama. I had my own room. It was lovely.
Danny, what about you? Were you a big dating show fan in prior to joining?
No, not at all. Actually, I don't know if I've watched one reality show from start to finish. I didn't even see season one until they told me, that it was like affirmative. They wanted me, for the role, for the position. So I like binge watched it right up leading up to see what I was actually getting into. And the scenery was so cool, just the way they shot it, the quality. So I lived out, I'd heard horror stories from a couple of my friends who've done reality television. And, I was like, this sounds like it's going to be better. So let's give it a shot because, maybe I'll meet my person. So.
And what's the reception been like since the show? Have there been a lot of supporters? Are ladies sliding into the DMs?
Yeah, no, I've definitely had some people that have questioned, that have slid into the DMs questioning my decisions for one thing. And, I think that's one of the hardest things about this is that people see a version of what happened and I lived it.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to something like reality TV, there's usually a lot more going on behind the scenes,
Right.
and as genuine and authentic as I thought that this season was, there's still a lot that people don't see that transpired and reasons why. But I think what I'd want everyone to know more than anything is just how strong that, my relationship with Nicci is and what a wonderful heart she has. And I think that they emphasized her competitiveness in the program and, her sense of humor and, she's quirky and funny. But she also has a beautiful heart. And so, yeah, that's what I'd say there.
They definitely really showed your more competitive side, Nicci.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'm like, is that all I gave you? Like, really? That's the best you could do? But hey, everyone who watched it and saw me was like, Nicci, you were so you the whole time. Like, you were hilarious. You could see your heart was like pure and like genuine intentions. And so, yeah, I lived it. I know how strongly we were. And so that's why I do come off cocky in some of the moments because you're not seeing the moments before. So,
well, and you know what you want and you have to go for it.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely do. And I did.
Yes, you guys did. Well, I'm happy to see that things have still worked out with the two of you. I'm happy to see that you're still together. And I don't know, I'm foreseeing maybe a baby Danny at some point in the future.
Like, blow your roll.
What else are you guys working on now? How's life post 12 dates? Do you have any new projects, any new shows?
No new shows for me. I'm definitely getting busier with like my modeling. I'm also into fitness. So I feel like this is a great opportunity for me. And then I'm also a full-time student. So I'm getting my master's in education. So that's been keeping me busy as well.
Yeah. So for me, I think I'm a software engineer by trade. And so, that's my career. And then I have had some modeling work picking up as well. And it's getting into season for that in Florida. So getting some work on the side as well.
Well, I love it. Where can we keep up with you and your love story on the social medias? What are your handles?
My handle is at Nicci, NICCI_Ramos, RAMOS.
Yeah. You can follow me at Dandy_Daniel. That's 2 N's, Dandy_Daniel on the IG.
I love it. Well, thank you guys for chatting with me today. It was nice
Thanks,
catching
Zach.
up with you. If you guys want to give me a follow, you can give me a follow at Just Plain Zach on the Instagram, or you can keep up with the show at No Filter with Zach. We have new episodes of hashtag No Filter with Zack Peter every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so be sure to subscribe. If you're listening to this on iTunes, then I hope you leave me a 5-star review because it's Christmas, and all I want for Santa to do is to give me more 5-star reviews. So if you want to do that, go and do it. You can give me a follow at Just Plain Zach on Instagram. My DMs are wide open, and I'm very single. So we'll see what the new year has to bring. If you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you hit that subscribe button so that you're always up to date with the latest tea. Be sure to hit that bell notification button as well. That way you get the notifications every time I got a new video for you. And be sure to leave me a comment below and let me know. Were you Team Nicci? Were you Team Brooke? Are you happy with where it all landed? And go give them some love and support on the social medias at Nicci Ramos, right? Or Nicole_Ramos.
No, it's Nicci.
Oh, it's Nicci at Nicci_Ramos. And Dandy Daniel, go give them a follow, show them some love, and manifest that baby. Because I love babies. I love babies, and I love making men uncomfortable. So I want to tease him about marriage and babies all night long. All right, guys, talk to you later. Bye.
Talk to you later. Thank you.
Yes.